Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do this. When I hover it, I need to display it. If I don't hover it, I need to remove it. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, then now let's add the hover events. So for that, what I'm going to do is for this particular division, okay, for this particular division, I'm going to add a few class name. Okay, so that is going to be the relative and cursor zoom in, and width it's going to be auto, and on hover it's going to, when I'm hovering it, I'm going to use the shadow MD, shadow LG. Okay, and I'm going to use the rounded LG, and then overflow hidden, and I'm going to use the transition all, and I'm going to say the duration 500, ease in, ease out. Okay, save the changes, and then after this we are going to add a few event on mouse enter. On mouse enter, I'm going to call a callback function like set. I'm going to call set post hovered. So we not yet created this, and that's going to be true. And on mouse leave, on mouse leave, on mouse leave event, we are setting that back to false. Okay, on mouse leave we are going to set that back to false. So absolutely we not yet created these two things, so we need to create first. What is that? It's just a state. So what I need to do is I need to create a state. So let's go here and use state snippet post Howard, and for that initially it's going to be false. Save changes. Okay, so now what I need to do is, if that post is hovered, what we need to do, we need to display few things, and then if it is not hovered, we need to remove that state back. Okay, so before that we'll add a click event for this particular division first, because on click, whenever I click this image, so it's need to take to that pin detail. I'm going to call a callback function, navigate slash pin pin detail slash dollar underscore ID. So take that particular thing, navigate, we not yet have the navigate, so let's create const navigate is equals use navigate. Save the changes. Now the error is gone. Refresh it. Okay, so now if I click this, that will takes me to the pin details, so it's working fine. Now let's come back over here. Okay, so what we need to do is, so right after this image, if the post is hovered, and if it is true, we need to render a component. What is that? We are going to render a division. Okay, inside this division I'm going to have one more division, because if you go here, this is the overall division, overall absolute. Inside that we having two divisions, so that's why I created one more division, one division for this, one division for this. Okay, so inside here we are going to have that particular download option. So let's add a few styles for it. Class name, this is going to be the absolute class, and top it's going to be 0, and width it's going to be full, height it's going to be full, flex, and then flex column, justify between items. We don't need to place the items in the center. So padding 1, padding top 2, padding bottom is also 2, and z index 50. Okay, and then for the second division, for this what we're having over here, for this is going to be a flex. single row and justify the between items center. And inside this, I'm going to have one more division, and that is going to have a class as flex and the gap as 2. And inside this division, I'm going to have an anchor tag, and this anchor tag is going to have an href tag like open it, and it's going to use the template string dollar open it, and image condition render it dot inside the image we having the asset, inside the asset we having the url dot url, and I'm going to give it question mark dl. This is to download that particular link. Okay, so right after this href, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say this is a download anchor tag, so download it, and on click I'm going to call a callback function call with an event. So I'm going to stop the propagation. So why the so let me I will explain it why we are adding this stop propagation and by the time when I finish these things. Okay, so save the changes, and inside the anchor tag we need to load that icon. So IO cloud download, save it. Now I can see that icon over here, but I can't see it much clearly. So let's add some class for it. So class, it's going to be bg white, okay, width 9, height 9, rounded full, flex, item center, justify center, and then text dark, and then text Excel, opacity 75, and then on hover I'm going to change the opacity to 100, and then on hover we are going to add the shadow effects also, shadow MD, and we are going to make the outline as none. Save the changes. Now you can see that download button much clearly. Okay, so now if I click this, it will download that link. Look at that, it's working fine. When I open it, I can see that picture, it's working fine. So behind this picture behind this download button, this picture is having a click event. That means if I click this, it will propagate the entire page. So if I don't have this and refresh this page, okay, so if I click this, see what's happening. When I click it, it's downloading it, but it's also taking me to that particular pin detail page. So we don't want to do that. That's why we are adding this, that stop propagation. So if I stop it, when I click this download button, it will download only that image. It will stop triggering that entire image. So for that particular thing only we are adding the stop propagation. So now we added the this we added this particular download option. So right after this, what we need to do is we need to add this save this button, that particular button over there. So right after this anchor tag and one division tag, press enter. Here I'm going to check if the already saved, if the post it is already saved. Okay, if the post dot length which is not equals to 0, if it is not equals to 0, then I'm going to render a component. Okay, or else I need to render a component. Two important things. So let's fix this. If it is not equals to 0, then button I'm simply going to say as saved. Okay, if it is not equal to 0, if it is equals to 0, I need to render a button, and we need to simply display a text as save. Okay, so this is what we need to do. So we need to add the ternary operator over here. We need to check that condition. Ternary operator, it will shows an error, so that's fine because we don't have this already saved over here. So what we need to do is let's go up a little bit, And then right after this const navigate, we are going to create that already saved. Okay, so save, this is coming from over here, save question mark dot filter. We need to condition render it because initially that save might be null or undefined, so we need to handle that error. So filter it, save dot filter. So this filter method will return a new array if there is any if it is find out that particular item is over there or not. So what I'm going to do, item dot posted by, okay, posted by question mark dot underscore id. If the posted by underscore id, which is equals to the user who currently logged in Google ID, so user dot Google ID, it is equal to the Google ID, then we need to, it will filter and it will throws that out. So now we are getting the user error. So we already created that user somewhere in our component, that is the user info. You can see that const user info. We need to copy this particular line and we need to paste it. So now you can see that we are repeating this line more than one time. So this is the right time to add this function in the utility folders. So right click and create a new file called fetch user.js, and then copy this line and paste it over here. Okay, so before that I need to create a new function over here, export const fetch user is equals arrow6 function without any parameter. We'll paste that and we will return that user info. Save the changes. So now we need to use it, that thing over here. So right after here, const user is equals fetch user. So we need to call the function called fetch user. So fetch user will comes from, we need to call this function. This fetch user will comes from this particular line. So where it is coming from, import fetch, it's not showing. Why the suggestion it's not showing, I don't know. Dot double dot slash utils slash fetch user. Now it will work. See, it's working now. Okay, so now that problem is solved. Okay, so here it's showing saved. Okay, so what we need to do is we will wrap everything into it. Dot length. Okay, so now it's the time to this is not a real optimize, like we are checking a boolean value, right? So this is not a proper value to, or proper way to write this complete thing. So what we need to do is we are going to optimize this code. Okay, so let me expand it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to show you an optimized way to do this. So how this filter is actually working. So let me show you. This is the value I'm looking at, this is the ID, and I'm having an array like 2 3 1. So the filter function will try to find out if this particular ID is inside this particular array, then it will returns like this. The filter function return a new array, then this dot length, it's absolutely return the value as 1. Okay, so if I'm trying to search a value which is not inside this array, like 4, what will happen? This will returns an empty array. So length will be LENGTH. So the length will be 0. So according to the boolean value, 1 means true, 0 means false. So what we need to do is, still we having it's a number. So if I try to get a negative of this 1, what happen? It will return false. if I am trying to get negative of the false, what happens? That will returns the true. So now we are getting the boolean value. The same way, if I am trying to get the negative of the 0, that we will return the true. If I get the negative of the true, that will returns the false. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to apply I need to wrap this like this. Then I need to add the negative value 2 times like this, so that will returns a boolean value, which is exactly what we are looking for right now. If the value is there, that will become true. If the value is not there, that will become false. Save the changes. And now let's go back here. We don't need to check anything over here. Okay, if it is already saved, that means true. If it is already saved, that means true, means that will return the saved along with the save dot length. That should be question mark along with the save dot length as saved. Otherwise it will simply display the save. See, it's showing the save currently because this post is not saved. Okay, so it's working how we expected it should be. So now let's write the some custom styles for these buttons so that it will looks awesome. So now what we need to do is we need to add these styles. So add the hold your alt key and press your cursor over there and here and press enter, and then type is going to be the button, and the class name it's going to be bg red 500. Okay, and opacity is going to be 70. On hover I'm going to add the opacity as 100, and I'm going to add the text white, and after that I'm going to make the font as bold, and we need to add few more things. So uh, we need to add font bold. Okay, just a minute. Font bold, and then what are the styles we need to add for this? Font bold space px 5 and py 1, and then text is going to be the base size, and then rounded it's going to be 3xl, and then shadow md, and then outline none. Save the changes. So that will gives you this button. Okay, now if I click this, we need to change this thing. It's if I click this, we need to get that save information. Okay, so we need to save this post. For that thing, what I'm going to do is for this particular button, I'm going to add an on click event. On click, I'm going to call an event because we need to stop this propagation. So e dot stop propagation, and we need to call a function called save pin, which we absolutely not yet created. So save pin, and we need to send that ID. Save the changes. So no issue, the save pin is not yet created. So let's go ahead and we'll create that save pin where we need to create. So right after we don't need this anymore. Let me delete it, so that will mess up. So right after here, so const save pin is equals, and we are passing the ID as the parameter, and open the function. Give some space. Okay, so if not already saved, if it is not already saved, then client, which we already added there, dot patch, we are going to patch it with the ID what we are passing into it. If the ID is missing, dot set if dot set if missing, we are going to set the save as an empty array. Otherwise, we are going to insert a value, insert where after. Okay, so here you can see that we are going to insert, these are the positions. You can see that replace, before, after. Okay, and we need to pass the value where we are going to insert it in the save, and which location, last one, -1. In the last index we are going to save. After this we are going to pass the bunch of array of objects, the value which we need to insert into that particular index. Okay, I'm going to pass the key is going to be the UUID, uniform identifier. Okay, and here after this I need to send the user ID, which we are already having in the Sanity. That use for that user ID we are passing the user dot google dot google ID. Add the question mark whenever we are fetching the value, because even if it is null or any error it will be handled. That's why I'm adding the question mark everywhere. Then I need to send the posted by by whom. So posted by, it's an object, and here you need to add a comma, otherwise it will show an error. Okay, posted by what particular type it is. It is posted by. Then reference, we need to pass the reference. Who's the reference? User is the reference. We are passing that Google ID. Now, okay, so after all this we need to commit the changes. So dot commit, where for the where your insert is closing, right over there we need to commit it. Okay, that will return a promise dot then. Okay, we are calling that callback function. Then window dot location dot reload, we are reloading the entire window. Save the changes. Now there is no error. If everything is working fine, if I click this, it's reloading, and look at that, this particular post is saved now. So now our save, it's working fine. Okay, so after this what we need to do is we need to add this destination and this delete option. That's what we are going to do next.